Welcome back, folks. Today we're going to be talking about the tapes. As more new witnesses and victims emerge, we're beginning to get a better understanding of the gravity of the situation. One of the most recent accusers claims to have video footage of Diddy trafficking an A-list celebrity, who is apparently considered to be more high-profile than Diddy himself, according to this victim's legal representation. Attorney Ariel Michelle Kidd spoke with news outlets on her client's behalf.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
this
I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video is pornographic in nature.
So long story short, things are about to get wild, and that would be all good and well. Leaked celebrity tapes are nothing new, but that's just the surface level frontage to misdirect you. Before I go any further, I must mention that I do not claim for any of this to be 100% fact and or truth. Opinions and statements made are of each individual speaking and must be taken as a grain of salt. You're entitled to your own opinion, so do your own research, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Also, for the record, I don't want to unalive myself.
Oh my, all right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, did he? And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded it.
All right. I wanted to ask you about the police report we talked about, but when your client came out, obviously the neighbor knew. Did she talk to her family? Did she talk to her friends? Did she have another lawyer? Let's go back to your client.
So at the time, she, as most rape victims are, they feel a lot of shame.
Absolutely.
And they don't want to vocalize what happened to them because then it makes it real. So they kind of internalize it and get over it. And due to the high profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying Mr. Combs' name. So she didn't feel any confidence that revealing his name would have done anything.
Sure, sure. I mean, but there's a police report.
Yeah.
I mean, that fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims, you know, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes, as soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the criminal complaint that was made. I'll attach the number so everyone can see that this is a real number and can go to the police department there and request their own copy of that police report that was made back in 2018.
Well, that's going to be a huge deal when it happens, obviously, so we want to follow up on that.
The real problem with all of this is that it wasn't only adults who were involved in a lot of what's being alleged. I couldn't give less of a fuck about a bunch of celebs partying and getting buck wild all over each other. Be as freaky as you want. I don't care if Diddy liked to wear Jay-Z's ass as a hat, as long as it was among consenting adults. But not only were many of the adults not consenting, those who are not adults cannot consent.
Did Mr. Combs have any reaction? Do you know if he was interviewed? I mean, he was named in the police report.
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, and women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will their claims be investigated.
Right. Well, your client should be proud of herself for filing that claim and making that call and going for help because that's a huge deal. And of course, these are allegations. We want to say that. What was it like for you when you got this phone call, when you realized what you were going to be stepping into?
After talking to her, I just wanted to protect her. I just wanted to help her. She seemed as somebody very broken by this experience. And it was very concerning for me to hear her saying these things and expressing this very deep trauma associated with what happened to her. I just wanted to make sure that, number one, she was heard and we can get her voice to the masses, and maybe Mr. Combs will actually, like right now we're starting to see, will actually face some type of consequences for what he's done.
The MSM is trying to downplay and dilute the reality of what's actually going on here. Witnesses have been speaking with independent news outlets to try to get the truth out, that the industry and the feds are scrambling to cover up. There's allegedly video evidence of high-powered political figures engaging in depravity comparable, if not worse than, FRAZZLED RIP, involving a teenage pop star. The claims being leaked by witnesses all seem to be telling a similarly horrifying tale.
Diddy's right-hand man, Stevie J, sent out a warning shot, posting videos of celebrities at Diddy's 50th birthday party, amid reminders that Diddy has compromising material on all of them.
But that wasn't all Stevie J did. He sent out a warning shot, posting video of celebrities at Diddy's 50th birthday party. The Kardashians, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye, Kevin Hart, every A-lister was there. And Stevie J wants to remind them. Remember, the lawsuit says Diddy has compromising footage of everyone that went to his freak-off parties. Now, we're not saying this is a freak-off party or Diddy has compromising video, any of these people, but this is what Diddy's bodyguard said.
I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there.
You personally, you think they got tapes?
Well, my personal opinion that if Lil Rob could be trusted and his statements are true, they got him. They got tapes and stuff.
Now, if Diddy had tapes, the feds have them. That's a lot of blackmail.
Bieber tried to warn us in 2017, but the mainstream media were ordered to silence his voice and bury the story. In 2017, Bieber told hundreds of people at a Bible studies class in Los Angeles that he'd woken up to the evils of the music industry, and he needed to get out because it's controlled by the absolute worst kinds of people. Describing a party attended by the upper echelon of the music business, including producers, power agents, and international financiers, the media acted like vicious attack dogs when the story broke, making sure it was censored from social media and memory hold on search engines. And now we understand why. These parties were attended by VIP elites, including Barack and Michelle Obama.
I was 15 when I was drawn into his orbit. I was picked up on the street by one of his fixers. He promised to make me a star because he said I had the right look to be artist. But instead, I became his prisoner, slave in a world where his rich and powerful friends indulged in the kind of things most people cannot even imagine. At first, it was kind of, fun. I was introduced to big names in the industry, got invited to exclusive parties, and took selfies with famous pop stars. But as I got closer to Diddy, things began to shift. The parties I attended weren't just about having fun. They were private gatherings where the rules of the outside world didn't apply. the rules were that you had to break the rules. Young people like me, models, aspiring artists, and actors, were brought in, told we were special and chosen, but we were just pieces of meat. I met Justin when he was still a 15-year-old kid, around the time he was hanging out with Diddy and Usher. I think I was drawn to him because of how overwhelmed he seemed, almost more shocked by what was happening around us than I was. He wasn't like the others, he still had this innocence, and I could see he was trying to make sense of it all, just like I was. But I think it was his innocence that attracted the pervs too. He was their favorite. Everybody had to have a piece of Bieber.
Happy birthday, Justin! Happy
Welcome to the family, John. Bad boy, bad boy, bad boy.
He used to kind of like just zone the fuck out. My therapist says it's a form of disassociation. Some people do it when they are deeply traumatized. After a party, Justin would claim he couldn't remember anything. Even when there were super famous people at the party like the Obamas, and they had both been intimately involved with him. You've got to understand what these parties were all about. They were sex parties, no holds barred. But it wasn't just consenting adults getting freaky. These were freak-off parties. The more deranged, the better. I'm talking stuff with kids and animals, violence, degradation, even murder. Diddy used to sit in the corner giving himself, pleasure. Or he'd sit in other rooms watching the action on hidden cameras. He loved it when the Obamas were there because he used to say Michelle was his favorite person in the world. She has a larger than Barack, and she loves. She Justin at least twice that I know about. But he used to claim he couldn't remember anything. I saw it happen once in the same room as me, and I have seen another time on tapes that are doing the rounds in the industry. Everything is on tape. I mean, everything. And it's not just the Obamas. I personally know 3 people. 3 people I'm 100% certain who died because Diddy's friends thought they couldn't be trusted with what they knew. This isn't about me. There are networks of abusers all over the country. Everybody knows about Jeffrey Epstein, but he was just one of many. I'm speaking out because of all the young people who are still trapped, who are given no way out. It's about exposing the hypocrisy of these people who hide behind their power, pretending to be role models while they destroy our lives. The world needs to know what really happens behind the scenes.
As damaging leaks continue emerging, the Obamas are at the center of investigations as the truth about Michelle's real identity continues to be exposed.
And everybody is so worried about the elite, and we could give those names of Barack Obama, Joe Biden. We know about Michelle Obama, that's a man. We know about Too Short. We know about Akon and Steven Tyler, and we can give those names all day. And everybody is so worried about that, but what you should be worried about is the people that are in between.
So the names that you just mentioned, Barack Obama, Steven Tyler, Joe Biden, Michelle Obama, have you had personal sexual experiences with these people?
Yes.
These people participated in sex abuse firsthand with you?
Yes.
Can you tell that story? Because that's important for people to understand and to know. And to this point, I don't think a national platform has given you the opportunity to say those things.
No, because everybody is complicit. Everybody is complicit. It is covered up by your local FBI. It is covered up by your local police department. It is underground tunnels. There's a whole world.
Chrissy Teigen also admitted on camera to bizarre sex antics involving the Obamas. For the record, this is the same Chrissy Teigen who has tweeted the following statements, appearing to admit to sexual interest in children.
Just pick it out, read it, and answer.
Public place, you did it.
Is this the best or the worst? What do you do?
The best.
Okay, the best. Probably the Obama thing.
What? John, what's the? Oh God.
Oh God.
John?
What?
What is your wife talking about?
I don't know.
We heard
We're not-
in there.
He should get back in. What happened?
We're not gonna discuss
We're
that.
not gonna discuss it.
We're not. We're not.
Oh my God. Secret Service. Come here, jump back in.
Hi.
Look at John. Look at. I don't.
Hi.
We're not talking about it. That's the truth.
That is an awesome answer.
Not the White House.
Not the.
It was
It
not the
was
White
not
House.
at the White House. That is
100%
correct.
not at the White House. I promise.
He was not elected yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're moving on.
I'm sorry. I'm in trouble now.
I see you always gallivanting around to all these trips that Kim and I aren't invited on.
You wouldn't pick up for the weekend and leave your kids. You don't have help on the weekends.
I'm not saying I want to go.
Oh, dis.
So who was with you this weekend?
A bunch of my friends.
Diddy, Quincy, Justin Bieber,
So far,
French
so good.
Montana.
Do you even know half the people you're naming?
No.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, it's gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, come get the front shot at this.
Man.
And then out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay?
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right,
No,
16.
You're not ready.
16.
Slow down. Let's slow down, Jess.
Okay.
Let's slow down, okay?
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you wanna do? What you wanna do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid. Listen.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor
some...
Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s. Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans.
And your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary
okay?
J. Blige. They didn't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time. You know what I mean?
Does he have you doing any chores? Are you doing dishes at all? I mean, to keep you humble somewhat? Or are you just like, can you stay up till 4 in the morning with them and party?
I mean, I could. I actually stayed up longer than them.
And do you have money? What's going on?
I mean, I had like per diem.
Yeah.
I had like,
What
like
a
a living.
life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
Let's also not forget how instrumental Diddy was in using his influence to help Obama rise up the political ranks and become president.
Please introduce yourself to the young men and women of America.
State Senator Barack Obama, candidate for United States Senate from Illinois.
You becoming a black Democratic senator, this is a big deal. This is a big deal.
Well, absolutely. You know, we've got 100 U.S. senators from across the country, and right now not one is African American. So part of what we hope to do is to break that barrier, make sure that African Americans, Latinos, more women are included in the process, because the U.S. Senate makes decisions about a lot of stuff, war and peace, what we do with our tax dollars, etc.
The reason why I'm bringing up that's a big deal, because it's proof that the voting process can work if minorities and young people get involved. The disenfranchised that don't usually vote can make changes and can change the face of politics. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Listen, you're a motivating force for young people all across the country. Your music moves people. You're a trendsetter. But part of what we want to do is to make sure that we're setting a trend in terms of political participation. You know, music, fashion, all that's important. But people have to also understand that, you know, when our young men and women go to war, somebody's make that decision, and it's typically going to be young people. You know, whether you work at Mickey D's or you're producing records, your tax dollars are going somewhere. And young people have to be involved in that decision-making process so that their interests are looked after. Part of it is also that it's a way of asserting your power. You don't want to give away your power any more than you want to give away your money. You know, you wouldn't give away your money to anybody that just walked down the street, but when you give away your vote, you're giving away a little bit of power that you have to influence the things that you see around you.
When you want to be the president of the United States, you call your man, call MTV. We're going to give you a platform. We're going to give you a way to speak because you on to something, kid.
Well,
you on to something. You making sense to me.
Ain't no line too damn long. Ain't no line too damn long. Line ain't too long. Check this out. I woke up this morning. I am a little bit upset, as y'all can see. Woke up to an email that said, hey, Puff, I'm down here in Florida, and, you know, some of the people are going for early voting. Some people are driving up to seeing the lines, and they saying, I can't do that, man. The lines is too long. I know y'all done lost your minds, right? It may not be true, but just in case it is true, and I love Florida, so this has nothing to do with Florida. It could be anywhere in the United States where they got early voting, or even on November 4th. If you see the line and the line look like it's going out the door to the next state, you just walk down to the next state and get on the end of the line. Imagine if Martin Luther King said, oh man, my feet hurt, I can't march today. Imagine that. Imagine if people that was sitting in the diner said, no, I'm not going to sit down. I don't want to get beat on by the angry crowds. What if the people that was marching said, I don't want to get hosed down? We be using colored bathrooms right now, going to all colored schools. Y'all know what it would be. Ain't no line too damn long. Get on the line and vote, man. Don't even do it for yourself. If you got to stand on line for 48 hours, that's nothing compared to the people that have given up their lives for you to have this right, for you to have the life that you have, even if the life ain't great. It ain't the same life it used to be. Trust me. Ain't no line too damn long. I don't want to hear that. Spread the word to your friends. Let them know. Let's feel good about standing in lines. We're not doing it for ourselves. Let's feel good. Let's feel good about a little bit of sacrifice for our kids, for our futures. That's all I got to say.
Can y'all feel it? Tomorrow, we're going to shock the world and solve the record numbers. Do you really feel it? So many people fought and died for us to have the right that we have right now in early voting, the rights that we have tomorrow. And it's such a proud moment to see all of us out here. They said 4 years ago when I started Vote or Die that y'all wouldn't get registered. Y'all wouldn't show up to the polls. Y'all wouldn't vote. Y'all didn't care about your futures. Well, y'all letting them know right now that even before the election, they know, they are clear that y'all gonna come out to vote. Who you vote for? I said, who you vote for? Rosa Parks sat so Martin Luther King could walk. Martin Luther King walked so Obama could run. Obama's running so all our children could fly. Peace and love, Ohio.
There's so much to consider, and so much more yet to come, especially with the press conference with Tony Busby coming up, the lead counsel representing more than 100 anonymous victims, some who were not adults at the time. I've set up a live stream on the time and day, and we'll be discussing it in real time. I've added a link to the description if you want to click through and set it to notify you when I go live. If even a fraction of what Diddy and his associates are being accused of turns out to be true, it's going to be the beginning of the end of the world as we know it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.